It still is one of the best techniques out there. It's been so many brow techniques have came and went, but I'm gonna tell you that microblading technique is something special. It's an art and it's a science to it. Everybody can't do it. Don't believe the hype. People talk about how bad microblading is. I don't like that microblading. You haven't had it done right. If you don't like it, you haven't had it done right. And a lot of people that talk smack about microblading can't do it. So let's get into the gist of it. Some people are gonna love me for it, and some people are gonna hate me for it. Welcome to the Brows & Co. Show, your backstage pass to the world of brows, beauty, and business. I'm your host, Kechia Taylor, and I'm thrilled to have you with us for this weekly episode. Get ready to immerse yourself in the fascinating world of beauty trends, brow secrets, and the ins and outs of the beauty industry. Whether you're a beauty enthusiast, a business owner, or just curious about what goes on behind the scenes, you're in for a treat. So without further ado, let's explore the magic that happens when beauty meets business on the Brows & Co. Show. Welcome back to the Brows & Co. Show. I'm your host, Kechia Taylor, CEO and franchisor of Brows & Company, and your host of the Brows & Co. Show. Today, we're going to talk about the art of microblading. Where did it come from? How did it come to the States? What made it take off so fast as it did in the beauty industry? I'm here to go over all of that. But first, I want you to subscribe to this channel or go follow us on any podcast network that you can and make sure that you're getting these episodes each and every week, because I would love for you to experience the journey that I'm going on and learn more about the beauty and permanent makeup industry. All right, guys, so let's get right into it. Where did microblading come from? Well, I don't know the exact place where it came from, but it is said to have started in Asia. It didn't hit the States till about 10 years ago. People all over the world, other than the United States, have been doing microblading and tattoo techniques on eyebrows for many, many years. As you guys know, the tattoo eyebrows was already out. We see people walking around with the brow tattoo, and sometimes we frown upon it. But look, it was their only choice available at that time. So let's talk about microblading. What is it? Microblading is fine, thin, hair-like strokes that we implant with pigment into the skin to give you the illusion of brow hair. This technique has changed so many people's lives. Think about it. If someone had alopecia or recovering from cancer because they lost all of their hair, then what option was it? It was either the brow tattoo, which is more of a flat, bold, color blocking style, or microblading, which mimics the naturalness of hair, the hair stroke technique. So when this particular technique hit the DMV area, it was about 9 years ago, if I'm correct, 8-9 years ago. And it kind of took us by storm, right? People were afraid to get it. People wanted to get it. It was our end-all, be-all brow solution. Those of us who had sparse hairs was running to microblading. Those of us who wanted thick brows was running to microblading, and we just couldn't get enough of microblading like 8-9 years ago. But many of us just don't know where it came from. So I just want to be here to tell you that microblading is an artistry. It is a true art, and it is done manually. Microblading is done with a manual tool called a microblade and a needle, and you hook them together to create a microblade in itself. And so the coolest part about this technique is that it looks like hair. And I mean, we can get into like healed results, we can get into failed microblading, but at the end of the day, it was a solution for us women and men to go get some hair to make up for all those brow blunders that we all have, right? It was a great solution, and it still is one of the best techniques out there. It's been so many brow techniques have came and went, but I'm gonna tell you that microblading technique is something special. It's an art and it's a science to it. Everybody can't do it. Don't believe the hype. People talk about how bad microblading is. I don't like that microblading. You haven't had it done right. If you don't like it, you haven't had it done right. And a lot of people that talk smack about microblading can't do it. So let's get into the gist of it. Some people are gonna love me for it, and some people are gonna hate me for it. But I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna discuss it because I feel like it's something that everybody needs to know. When I say that it's an artistry, it is no other technique out there except one more, but it stemmed from microblading. We could talk about that on another episode on a later date. But microblading allows you to create this beautiful hair-like stroke to go with your hair, okay? It's the only technique that we have full control over and that we can blend in with what you have and make it look even better, leaving you with full brow makeover. And some may say it give you a brow lift, but we can get into that a little later in the episode. My journey with microblading, I have been an educator in the field of microblading for the last 8 years. I have been doing microblading for the last 8 years, and it is one of my favorite techniques, not only because you have a lot of control over it, but it's beautiful, it's artistic. It reminds me of being in art school. It reminds me of painting a great picture. It reminds me of what you can do with a simple tool in your hand. I love the artistry of microblading. It is not an easy technique to grasp. Some people may think they can do it. I've seen some bad microblading on paper, on practice scans, and on people. So I always go back to do your research and also book a consultation if you're planning on getting this service. But if you are planning on getting to microblading as a professional, you want to pursue this career path. You want to pursue this career path with microblading. It's important that you understand that microblading is not an overnight technique. It is a technique that takes patience. It takes skill. It takes a lot of practice. It takes understanding the skin. You have to put 100% of yourself into the skill set because you're working on people's face, and not only people's face, but their beautiful skin. And so you don't want to mess up anybody's skin because you haven't had the proper training. In my opinion, you cannot do microblading in 1, 2, or 3 days. Factor in the practice, factor in how many people you need to do it on, factor in understanding color theory and understanding the skin. So you got to factor in all those parts, and it is a continuous process. Just like a doctor, you know, he has to go to school to keep up his learnings. You have to continue practicing with microblading, and you have to understand that there are different techniques that come out, there are different designs that come out, there are different needles, different pigments. All of that plays a role into microblading. But first things first, you cannot do microblading unless you understand brow mapping. Brow mapping is a prerequisite into any permanent makeup brow service. But for microblading, you cannot fudge this. You need to have brow mapping. You need to understand how to draw a brow. You need to understand the brow bone. You need to understand how the brows is proportioned with the face. You need to understand the golden ratio. So you tell me if you can learn that in 1 or 2 days on top of marketing your business and color theory and all that good stuff. Because for me, I don't think so. Unless you just excel at everything, it may be a shorter time. But for me, I at least give a person who puts in the work at least 12 to 16 weeks to get this down. And not to even get it down, but just to get to a point where you're comfortable. You're comfortable on doing different types of skin. You're comfortable on doing different type of age range. You're comfortable in doing it on different type of ethnicities. That's another thing. It's not a one rule thing. You have to be able to offer this service inclusive. It can be for everybody. I mean, some factors do play a part, like skin, activity, age, all of that plays a part. But someone who's looking for a good microblading training program, please know that it's not going to get you there overnight. But somebody promised that you're going to be this fabulous artist in 2 and 3 days, and you're going to be booked out, and you're going to be making $1 million. I don't think so. Okay, if it's too good to be true, it usually is. Another thing about microblading, let's get into trends, right? Brows have always been in. I don't know what you guys are talking about or what you've been looking at, but brows have always been in. Full brows have always been in. Ladies, don't let people tell you that your brows are too thick. Keep them brows, okay? You're gonna need them as you age. Brows have always been in. But it wasn't until people like Kim Kardashian, they rose the brow game to the top. They started coming out with this contour face, and their brows were nicely done and nicely contoured. And so people who didn't have any brows was looking around for some solution. And so they were looking at maybe they can get makeup done, but technically you can't wear a full, well, you can. You can have a makeup artist, or you can do your makeup every single day. But that gets tiring. No one wants to do their makeup every day, all day, wearing a full face all day. And some people do, and some people do like it. But if you're like an everyday woman, just like me, you wake up and you just want to have natural brows and you don't want to do your brows, then microblading is that solution. Or semi-permanent brows, but we're talking about microblading today. Microblading is that solution that saves you time, and that solution that boosts your confidence up a few levels. It's nothing like being able to look in the mirror and see that you got brows, you got it going on. Your brows are looking fab. You're looking fierce. You don't care no more what people say. You're not feeling that sparseness. You don't feel like people are looking at you all day. And number one, microblading is sweat-proof and waterproof, ladies. Okay, sweat-proof and waterproof. It doesn't get any better than that. Again, the trend from microblading came just from people looking at reality TV, right? You see people with their makeup done. You see these full, beautiful brows. Kim Kardashian comes on the scene. Zendaya with her beautiful brows come on the scene. You're like, wait a minute, hold up. I need to go get me some of them. That's what I'm talking about, ladies. What goes on around us drives the trend. And so with us wanting those solutions, that's how microblading came here to the States, because we wanted it, right? And some people were stationed over there in like Korea and Germany, and they were getting microblading done, and they were gatekeeping, y'all. They were keeping it to themselves. And they would come over here and be like, oh yeah, I had this procedure. So a lot of people in the military, they were already hip to it because they were stationed in Asian countries. And so they were getting this service done. And that's the whole backstory on where microblading originated from. But it wasn't until celebrities and reality TV came in and took that information and just boosted up, right? Because if you're like me and you're in your late 40s, then you remember Cindy Crawford brows was on fire. Everyone wanted brows like Cindy Crawford. All the TV, all the media, the magazines, everyone wanted fashion runways. Everybody wanted those Cindy Crawford brows. And then some way we started letting the wrong people wax our brows and do whatever they wanted to our brows, and we started losing hair. Our brow hair started thinning out. And then we didn't know what to do, so we kept going to those places. And you guys know what places I'm talking about. I don't even have to mention what type of places I'm talking about. But you would consistently go there every week, every 2 weeks, get your brow waxed, knowing they too thin, knowing that these particular places burned your hair off, and continue to go. Now, I don't know where we went wrong. I don't know what happened from Cindy Crawford to that, right? I don't know what happened. But what I do know is I'm glad that microblading came into the picture, because now we all have solutions that we can turn to get full, beautiful brows. I hope this episode was helpful to you. If you are someone looking for training and you want to get into that microblading field, please do not take a 1, 2, 3 day training. You need experience. You need to have hands-on experience combined with theory, combined with practical, combined with learning everything about the skin pretty much, okay? It's the reason why estheticians go to school for 600 hours, because they're learning about the skin. You can't just go in and cut on somebody's skin and not know nothing about, I wanted to cuss, but I just did it. But not know nothing about the skin. If you are looking for training and you want proper training and you're not in a rush and you're going to put your all into it, make sure you contact us. Go to www.browsingcompany.com, click on Training Academy, and learn more about us. If you want to get that microblading service done and you're like, I really want to get it done, but I'm scared, book that consultation. Whether you come to Browsing Company or whether you go to someone else, you will feel much better if you book that consultation. Again, I hope this episode was helpful for those who are looking to get microblading and those who are looking to do microblading as a training program, as a career professional. Do your research, book your consultation. I'm Kechia Taylor, CEO and franchisor of Browsing Company, and your host of the Browsing Co. Show.